Far and wide we drink
A little
tonight
new fermenters
with
little thing there.
folks from
It's
all
Oh
just
yeah.
repping.
So cheers.
So
Oh shit! Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to the afternoon pint. My name is Matt Conrad, and who do we have here today?
I am Henry Hussey.
Henry, and where are you from as I pour the beer?
Uh, I'm from Portugal Cove, Newfoundland, but I live in St. John's. Portugal Cove's like 20 minutes away. It's like not really, far away, but yeah, live in St. John's.
St. John's great. Been there several times. I mean, only a handful of times. Yeah, it's definitely a spot that I love.
Oh, 100%. It's an absolutely beautiful province, and I've been pretty much across Canada, and
Yeah.
it's like the landscape is just so unique. The cultures here are so unique. It's just a very nice, beautiful province to come, the 8 days a year when it's sunny.
Yeah, fair enough. But there's lots to do. So
There
uh,
is, yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
I want to thank you for being. You are our first guest in our kind of mini series that we haven't named yet, but I'm just calling it "Drinking Across Canada." With the afternoon pint. But
Nice.
so you are also from a brewery.
Yeah, 100%. So I work out at Banished Brewing in Paradise. Paradise is like a 20-minute drive outside of St. John, so it's a little bit further than Portugal Cove. But fairly new brewery. They're only open pretty much 2 years. I think it's 2 years next month. Um, but they're doing some fantastic stuff out there. They've got a really crazy talented team. That's kind of what drew me to those guys, and just really nice to get somewhere like that, say off the ground brewery with a lot of people that are like knowing what they're doing. So it's been a really exciting couple, well, almost half year now for me, just getting in there and doing some stuff.
Well, I mean, I can tell you right now. I mean, you guys sent us some beers, which we were greatly appreciated. The Eclipse Dark Lager. As I said to you, I mean, I love that. That one's Mike's, and I don't know if he's going to get it. I
He's
really
not
don't know if
getting
he's
it.
going to.
He's
I
not
don't know.
getting it.
Yeah. Anyone wonder where Mike is? He's sick, so he couldn't make this. And because he's sick, I kind of feel like he forfeits at least one of the four beers that you sent us.
I mean, that sounds like a good trade-off to me. I mean,
Seems to be.
could have sucked it up a little bit, put like a background over it, did a filter or two. He could have made it.
Exactly. Even if he wasn't drinking beer, he could have had something, whatever, right? They sipped on something, water, I don't know, NyQuil or something. But
I wouldn't judge him too much.
exactly.
Only a
So
little
yeah,
bit.
you sent us this dark lager. Then we have an American lager. I actually did have that as well.
Nice.
Because I wanted to have something, I'd like to have at least a beer for supper. And that goes really well with the chicken and fries that I made uh, for
Absolutely
supper.
perfect.
So
Yeah, yeah.
it was really great. And the dark lager I had with steak on 2 nights ago, whatever. And that was absolutely lights out with steak.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely lights out. And just so anybody, if I'm going to make a controversial statement, I don't think it's too controversial, but it is when I say it, is steak on a barbecue is overrated because steak properly cooked. I know steak properly cooked. Think about when you had like the best steaks of your life and the top chefs in the world who make steaks. They all do it on a pan. They do it with lots of butter. They do it with garlic, and they do it with like rosemary or something or thyme or whatever, like different herbs and stuff. That's how I do my steak. So honestly, I cooked it with lots of butter, with salt and pepper and garlic, and honestly, it mixed it with this, and I'm telling you,
Good stuff.
oh yeah, like just
Nice.
if you sent me a keg of that, I'd probably be eating steak every night.
Yeah, I find barbecues are almost foolproof, right? Like if you know your
Yeah.
way remotely around a barbecue, you can cook a medium rare steak. I would like argumentatively say that cooking steak on a frying pan is a little bit more technical. So like, you need to think about smoke points, temperature, searing.
Yep.
There's lots of things going on in that pan that just like isn't a set it and forget it kind of barbecue thing. Flip it once, flip it twice, wait your 7, 8 minutes at whatever temperature and you're golden, right? So it's kind of
Well,
foolproof. But when you think about, properly cooking a steak on a pan, and like you're talking about garlic, people are adding butter, temperature's up too high, you're going to brown your butter, get those proteins. It's going to be a very different flavor. So
yep.
you're right. It does take a lot of skill. And I have had some great pan done ones, and they're really freaking good.
I've been working on it. I've been testing it because it's like, I used to only ever really cook steak or eat steak at a restaurant because I was like, you know what? A really great steak is I don't know if there's anything better.
Yep.
And it's just one of those things where it's just like, whew, and but I've been working on it. I mean, I've taken cooking lessons in the past, and like that, and I'm a big Gordon Ramsay guy and everything, right? So
Nice.
I wanted to learn how to like really make like a really good steak. And I've gotten to the point now where I've talked to my wife about this, and she's always rolls her eyes, but she's kind of like she rolls her eyes in the sense that she's like, okay, yeah, your steak's good, but stop saying it's good, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit humble here. It's like, yeah, it's good. All right, all right. I've heard it's like,
But
listen,
honestly, at this
anytime
point,
you want to test run a steak and I'm around, just let me know. I'll
I'm
give you
happy to
like
do so. Happy.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, if you're ever in Halifax, you let us know, right? And I honestly, I'm at a point where it's like, uh, you know, I would rather have my steak at home than if you're paying for like a 40 steak, $40 steak, $45 steak out in a restaurant. I'd rather have mine at this point. Now you
Yeah,
get
yeah.
some of those really high end ones, like those 60, 100 and over $100 steaks that are cuts of meat that are insanely good that have professional chefs cooking them. Yeah, I can't compete with that. But
100%. There's a little restaurant here, Portage. So it's Chef Ross Larkin and Celeste Ma. So like they're together, married, and they used to work at Raymond's, which used to be one of the best restaurants in Canada. But they opened up this little kind of like beautiful, really rustic, kind of like comfortable restaurant here.
mm,
And man, their $65-$70 steak is unreal.
yeah,
It's like music, and it's beautiful jus, and like they change up the way they prepare it all the time. Absolutely fantastic.
yeah. Oh, just beer and food, favorite things.
100%. That's like my number one passion in life, to be quite honest, and it's why I work in the beer industry. So like I've worked in food and beverage for, oh, geez, 20 years now, if not, yeah, 20 years. So it's kind of been like it's one of my things that I love. Like, and I try to explain it to people sometimes, and they're like, "That's a little like, you know, everybody loves food and booze," but I'm like, I absolutely love it. Like cooking at home, working in restaurants in the industry, and that's kind of how I got into beer was because
Mm,
I was working in the industry, and then like a job popped up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna hop on this. I'm gonna grab this job. It was a bar manager basically at Kitty Vitty when they opened up their new tap room, and I took over that role doing that, and all of a
yeah,
sudden I
I
fell in
showed you
love with
this
beer.
too.
Oh,
So
100%.
just so we know, there, like this is banished. Yeah, back to the beer, I guess, for a quick sec. This is the Banished Brewing Imperial Stout, which is awesome. Nice malt character.
Heavy hitter.
Oh yeah, 9%, but nice malt character, but it doesn't taste too like that alcohol flavor isn't unbalanced. It's balanced really, really well.
Hmm.
So this is a really solid 9% beer. You'd never know. But yeah, so I wanted to be completely Newfoundland tonight. So, I have my banished beer in my Kitty Vitty Normie that I bought at Kitty Vitty when we were over in one of the times I was over in St. John's. So
100%.
and I saw you poured it. You have this being poured. So why don't you tell
Yeah,
me what that is?
Yeah, so Space Puffin is our hazy IPA. Beautiful little like hazy IPA. It's just like super ripe. I love the water profile on this. So if people don't understand what that is, like the brewing salts, you can when you're tasting like an IPA or you're tasting like you go from your bitterness, but the profile on it is just soft. It's really soft and it's not chalky. Which whenever I'm drinking a hazy, a lot of the times, a lot of the breweries are going to go a little heavy into like some of the salts, and you get that like chalky, almost like gritty aftertaste, which I'm not huge on, and I do not get it on Space Puffin, and I absolutely love it.
You
It's
know,
yeah, it's beautiful, and we do some art on it. If you couldn't see it,
yeah.
so this art has actually won some awards. I believe this can is in New York in a art gallery.
Oh, no
So
way.
yeah, pretty cool, hey.
Very
So
cool.
yeah,
And you know what? I didn't even realize I've had this before. Because when you sent it over, I started reading about, when you're sending the beers over, I started reading about the beers that you told me you were sending over. And then I saw the can, and because you said the name, and it didn't fully register. But then when I saw the can on your website, I was like, wait a minute,
yeah,
I've had this before. And because it stuck out, because the can made me want to buy it when I saw it at Bishop Cellar, or it was either Bishop Cellar or West Side, one or the other.
yeah.
And I saw it, and I was like, it just stood out so much that And then I'm a sucker for a New England IPA because I love that hazy IPAs.
Yes, man.
Absolutely love them. Right?
Yeah, a
Held
good
off.
hazy IPA tastes like sunshine. Like you get
Yeah.
those like when you think about like tropical fruits and citrus, you know what I mean? You don't think about rain, drizzle, and fog. You think about like beautiful sunny tropics. You think, that's the kind of thing. So it's good mood
So,
pairing.
so far, I've had four of your beers now, and I gotta say, I like every single one of them. So I honestly, I know Space Puffin's available here. Can anyone get anything else here? Is it just that one right now in Halifax?
I'm not quite sure, to be honest. I do know we export a fair amount of stuff down to like Bishops. I think it's through Harvest is the name of it. But I do
Harvest
not
Wine and
know.
Spirits would be yeah.
Yeah,
So Harvest Wine and Spirits is owned. Um, I mean, they're not supposed to be, but they kind of are. Owned by the same people who own. So Harvest Wine and Spirits, West Side, and Rockhead are three different private liquor stores, but they're not allowed to be under the same name because you're not allowed to have a you're not basically not allowed to compete with the monopoly that is the NSLC.
understandable. Yeah,
So the three names are different people in the family who hold it
amazing.
as a bit of a technicality. Bishops is the only one I believe who's still completely independent on its own. So we have four. I wish there was more of them like you guys in Newfoundland. Everyone can just sell your beer kind of thing. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that would be better for the craft beer industry, that's for sure. Because honestly, the NSLC, you go to their craft beer section, and as much as I love them, I do, but it's basically the craft beer wall is basically the different IPA wall. It's
Oh,
what it's come down to, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I had a situation Good Friday, and you'd be really interested in this. My cousin and I decided to do a beer sync, and my other cousin. So it was two of my cousins and myself. And what it is we pick four styles, and it's like here's the four styles. Everyone bring a beer, pick whatever beer you
Yeah, yeah,
want,
yeah.
that style, and we're gonna drink them at the same time and see what you bring, see whatever it is, right? And sometimes you pick the same one, sometimes you don't, and you kind of compare them, whatever. I had to go to four different locations to pick up four different beers.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was rough.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you would not have that issue here. Like the craft beer wall here now is monstrous. Like there's hundreds, I would say, different like brewing, like local brewing offerings, which
Right.
is pretty intense. There's a lot of stuff.
It's awesome, and we have so many. Like for a small province, we have so many craft breweries here in Nova
Hmm.
Scotia, and they're just not given their day. I find that they have to put their IPA on the shelf. It's not their fault, right? They have to put the IPA on the shelf because that's what is the most popular style in the craft world, and therefore everyone has to put their IPA up. Otherwise, they won't get shelf space, right?
Brutal. Yeah,
So
I understand.
it's not their fault. They're trapped in a system that kind of just sucks, right?
Hmm.
So I'd say take that responsibility away from them. Like the NSLC sell their, Bud Lights and Coors and all that stuff, and let corner stores sell the craft beers, or let them sell it themselves without having to pay a tax to
Yeah,
the
yeah.
NSLC. So there's all that stuff. But anyway, that's that stuff. But let's get back to you because you were talking about your love of food and love of beer, and you were talking about how you got into it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So basically, yeah, I started working at Kitty Video. I've always liked beer. Like I said, like whenever somebody says to me, like, what's your favorite thing to drink? I always say I don't discriminate. Like, as long as a product is good and well crafted, I will enjoy it. Like, I love
this
a
is
good
why I like
tequila.
you.
Yeah, 100%. I like good bourbon. I like good scotch. I love good gin. And like, for a long time, I was a competitive cocktail bartender. So that was kind of cool.
Okay, that is
Worked,
cool.
yeah, I worked a lot of bars. I did really well in a bowls competition, like Bowls Blue. They're actually a very like, monstrous company that exports all around the world. And I
Yeah.
did very well in that one year within Canada, which was nice. Like there was thousands of competitors, so that was awesome. Um, but yeah, it's just like that kind of world is what I'm into, as long as it's made well. And
Yep.
you can always tell when something is done properly. Like with
Yes.
anything, right? You can taste a cocktail that's made by somebody at just like a bar you go to one night and they make you a whiskey sour with bar mix. And some people might like that. It might be their thing. But, or if you go to a nice restaurant and they got a good bartender and he makes you a whiskey sour with fresh lemon juice, whiskey, cracks those eggs, uses egg whites, uses some bitters on top. It's a completely different experience, and you can taste that, right?
Agreed.
And my love of food is that. Like anything that is done well takes time, it takes research, it takes energy. So, yeah, big food and bev guy.
Yeah, yeah. You sound like the Newfoundland version of me, man. Like it's great.
100%. Yeah, come
Yeah,
over for supper club some night, you know?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I've already been screeched in, so I mean, there's that. So
100%. Yeah, that's not too bad. Although, Screech isn't the best. Not gonna lie. I think Screech is like a thing that Newfoundlanders only get, like, come from ways to do. Your CFAs.
yeah,
So, come
yeah.
in, we just like, point a little bit. It's like, hi, you kissed a fish and you drank some shitty rum.
But you
And,
know what? Actually, let's for anyone listening, because we're going to be drinking across Canada, so people are listening across. Explain what being screeched in is to people.
Okay. So, yeah, for anybody who's curious what being screeched in is, it's basically a little ceremony that people do to become a honorary Newfoundlander. The best place you can do it, if you ever come to Newfoundland, is down at Christian's Pub. They do a legendary screech in. Brian down there is absolutely fantastic. He's been doing it for years, and he's super talented. He owns Christian's Pub as well, and just all around great guy. But what they get you to do is kind of say a couple of different Newfoundland sayings, get you to like repeat after them. It's like this little fun song and dance. Then you kiss a codfish. It can either be fresh or frozen. It's hilarious. So take codfish out, kiss on the lips, go to the next person. They did wear masks during the pandemic, so no one had to worry too much. After that, yeah, basically then you get to have a little bit of Newfoundland steak. So that's, not the steak like you're thinking, but Newfoundland steak is maple leaf big stick bologna. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's and you don't want this medium rare. You want it well done. But it's a delicacy here in the islands, so it's what all the cool kids were eating back in the day. So
listen.
you eat your Newfie steak, and
Oh,
once you finish that up, you basically wash it on down with a shot of Screech, and you hear the tale of how Screech was done. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. Basically, army or a military person was here, drank it, let out a god awful screech. Don't know if it's true or not, but I tell you, sell screech-ins.
the folklore is fantastic about it, though.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely fantastic, and it is a good little way to get people in. But you can always tell a Newfoundlander from an honorary Newfoundlander because Newfoundlanders are known to be able to enjoy themselves and have a couple of ales, I would say, and be able to hold their drink and have the best time. But I tell you, those come from ways.
But maybe that's what it is. Because honestly, yeah, I do it, having a toddler and all that stuff now. I don't go too hard as much anymore. But there were not that long ago. There were times where I could go.
Brother, we were talking earlier about being 40, and listen, you're pretty much there. You're already making excuses.
Oh, I still can go. It just doesn't happen very often.
All right,
'Cause,
all right, all right.
my issue is when all of a sudden when you have a toddler, your spouse has to take care of them and stuff, right? If you're
Yes.
out doing things,
Yeah,
and
no,
vice versa,
completely.
I gotta take care of them. So each other's DD has disappeared, kind of thing.
See, I don't have firsthand experience. I don't have children yet, but my brother has two, so that's the closest experience like I have. So he's has his dad responsibilities. He has basically a small infant and like a older boy, and I tell you, that's it. You got responsibilities. It's
Yeah,
tough
that's it.
times.
I mean, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Also
100%.
on top of that, my my kid, I can be upstairs. So I'm in my bar in the basement,
Yep.
and I have a fridge down there where I keep beers and stuff like that. That's where the bar is. I have some like collectible glassware and everything over there. And I can say to my kid, who's 2.5, all right, bud, you go get Dad a beer, and he will go down the stairs down into the fridge, open the fridge, grab a beer, close it, fridge, come upstairs, and here you go.
Man, and if you got an assortment, you don't even know what you're getting. That's kind of exciting,
I actually love that. Yeah, it's like
right?
surprise.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
Surprise beers.
craft beer roulette. That should be a thing.
It's not bad.
Okay, so with you being in the food industry and everything, so you like to cook. You like, what are some of your favorite places in St. John's for food? Like, if we're giving a shout out to St. John's, what do you love? What are some of the places that you love? And I mean, I've been there. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't get to go a whole lot of places. Nothing too upscale or anything because we were just exploring at the time. But yeah,
Yeah, so like my number one place right now is Portage for sure. Really like what those guys are doing there. Um, their food is just absolutely fantastic. It's like they do basically family style, so larger style plates, kind of designed for sharing. Everything is just, I would say, like immaculate. Like,
okay.
one of the most frustrating things for me when I go out to dine is when I eat and I go, I could have done better than that at home if I
Uh,
just tried, right? So
yeah.
that's a very frustrating experience. And I go to a lot of different restaurants, and obviously I'm not going to say who they are, but I go to places, you get a $200 bill at the end, tip on, you know, the whole shebang, and I go, that wasn't great, right? Like, and it's like like when you spend $200 on a meal with your partner or with whatever, you want to have a good experience service wise, and you also want to have like something that's delicious. But yeah, it's a frustrating scenario. So I love to go to Portage. The Adelaide Oyster House is pretty amazing too.
I love oysters.
Oh, 100%. They do a lot of like fun kind of like Asian fusion-y kind of stuff as well.
Okay.
They're just a loud, rambunctious, like fun spot, and it's really nice. Where else? Man, I haven't gone out to eat a whole lot lately. Little Sparrow's pretty awesome. It's kind of like a Italian style kind of place. They do pizzas. It's in the Hilton Hotel. That place is really nice. They also do some like pastas and stuff, fresh pastas, which is beautiful.
Oh,
Tear restaurants really good as well. That's kind of like ones I've gone to. Unfortunately, Mallard Cottage just announced they were closing. That was one of my favorites as well. But Chef Todd Perrin, who is famous for being on Top Chef Canada, he also is opening a new place downtown, which is called, I think it's Rabble. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Rabble.
huh.
Oh, and my last one more. Chinched Bistro. Absolutely fire. Chinched has been open. I think they're almost going on like 15 years now. They must be.
Oh, wow.
They used to be on Queen Street, I believe, downtown, and they moved to a new location about 6 or 7 years ago, and that's up on Bates Hill. And they've been doing like their own charcuterie meats for a very long time. They were doing charcuterie before charcuterie was even a thing in Newfoundland. So they make
Yeah.
their own like everything. In fact, there's a local farm here called Lester's Farm, and they have a little deli case there. And we just went there the other day, and I ordered their hero sandwich. And I wrote the guys because I used to work at Ginched a long time ago, and I wrote them and said, Bruce, who's the name of the guy who's working. I was like, he's not making sandwiches, he's making art, because it was unbelievable.
Ooh. So yeah, because I mean, this is the thing is like I haven't been like I mean I like some of the fine dining and things like that, but I mean I haven't really had a chance to do the fine dining in Newfoundland, which
Mhm.
probably something that next time around would be something I'd like to do.
And to be honest, like in the aspect of the word, I don't, and I might get like in trouble for saying this, but I really don't think fine dining almost exists in Newfoundland anymore. Since the like closing of Raymond's, everything's gone to like a more casual feel. Like Raymond's was that like highest elevation. They were the best restaurant in Canada for several years.
Yeah.
And going off of that, all these restaurants are kind of like much more comfortable. You can come in with a t-shirt, shorts, whatever you want to wear, kind of
That's
like
fine.
comfortable. There's like not stuffy service. You're just
Yeah.
relaxed, So I wouldn't. Yeah, fine dining to me is like, oh, I'm wearing a pair of white gloves, touche. You get an oyster
Yeah.
fork and a spoon, sort of thing, right? Like
Fair enough.
that kind
And
of
I've been
feel.
to some of those restaurants where, like, waiters have assistants, right?
Yeah.
Um, and they're good. Don't get me wrong, they're good.
Mhm.
I joined being. I took my parents to a restaurant like that a couple of years ago, my wife and I went and for Christmas one year, basically I got my parents a gift certificate and I was like, hey, we're gonna go to this restaurant. My wife and I have been a couple times. You can get Wagyu steak there. It's like the best thing ever. And like so I took them there. I got them the gift card. We all went. The four of us went like later on, and my parents, like, I come from humble backgrounds. My parents, you know, grew up. I grew up with, obviously not that type of living and everything. And honestly, it was a weird experience to drop that much money and all that stuff.
Yep.
Because I don't know if my dad in his own world, he's like, this is delicious. I don't care, whatever, it's fine. But mom almost felt like, I don't know. I think she was like a fish out of water, right? She
Yeah, yeah.
just felt like it was too. I think that she felt it was like too upscale. She felt uncomfortable there.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason that a lot of these restaurants kind of like, at least here, are phased out. It's because like you don't get that feeling when you go to a comfortable restaurant, right? Like that's the point, right? So when you go to, like, perfect example, Portage makes amazing food, but you're very comfortable when you go there. Like the wait staff are wearing t-shirts, jeans,
Yeah,
like a sort of thing. Whereas, it almost feels, like you said, uncomfortable. Like you almost feel like there's an expectation of you when you're in certain places, right?
right.
Like, oh God, I don't know what spoon to use at this course. Like, should I use
Yeah,
the
I never
small
did.
fork or the big fork? It's like, right? And that's a little bit of stress to have on yourself, right? So
No, I
that's it.
agree. And I mean, I guess when I mean like I guess when I say fine dining, I should even use a better word because it's more like just quality ingredients. I just like quality food,
Yeah,
just like quality drink. I like quality ingredients, like when you can taste that stuff. Like I'm a big proponent of local, a big proponent of like something that tastes authentic. We actually for Mother's Day yesterday, so this is this will be released later, but this is the day after Mother's Day when we're talking here. So I was going to pick up. I picked up kind of a more authentic Middle Eastern food to
hmm,
bring down to my parents' place so we could have that. So I just packed it up to go and everything. We took it down. We just had a feast. And my wife really likes a particular chain that does kind of Middle Eastern food. And I was like, nah, this is better, right? This is more authentic, right? And she was
yeah,
like, ah, okay, we'll see, kind of thing. And I mean, don't get me wrong, that particular chain offers pretty good food,
yeah. Hmm.
but it's not the same level, right? And so she actually, when she had it yesterday, and then we had so much, she had some leftovers for lunch today, and she was writing me at lunchtime, like texting me, and she was like, yeah, this is honestly, she's like, this is just next level for the same price. She's like, it's just more authentic. It's just everything's just better. I'm like, I know. And it's the same price. So it's like, sorry, chain, you're gone,
Yeah, yeah.
thing, right?
No, 100%. Yeah, we had a curry here called International Flavors, and they were a Pakistani style food, and they were down by like the Kitty Vitty area, kind of. Actually, it was at the bottom of Signal Hill is the perfect place
Oh,
to
okay,
describe
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And they were open. They closed during the pandemic, unfortunately. They were open for like forever, a very long withstanding restaurant in the community. And you know what they served? Like four items. They sold
Perfect.
a lamb combo, they served a chicken combo, a vegetarian combo, and then like naan. And they had some samosas and stuff, but like, they were the mainstays. And it was so funny because they had a sandwich board outside that says today's specials.
Huh.
And that sandwich board was at least 15 years old, and it had the exact same today's specials on it every single day. But that food was absolutely amazing. You could go in there for like $15 and you get your medium chicken. And like it got to the point that like me and my like couple of good friends, we actually like there'd be certain days when they got the spices in from Toronto that we would know. We'd know because we'd go and taste it. And we started a text group chat and be like, it's a 10 today, boys. We had a ranking system for how good this was. So like we'd fire it off and be like, guys, it's a solid 7 today. Don't bother showing up. But like if somebody went in on like a Thursday, if you went in on a Thursday at like 11:45 noon and you wrote the lads and said, hey, it's a 10 today, now you're canceling your meetings and you're going to Flaves.
That's
100%.
awesome.
100%. Yeah.
That is awesome. So, all right. So I'm gonna switch to my second beer because I crushed that 9% beer. So I'm moving on to the space puffin. Maybe that 9% is hitting me a little bit more. No,
I cannot wait to go to work tomorrow and be like, guys, I got a pitch for you. I got
yeah,
a new
like,
beer, Space Muffin.
you know what's funny? I had a space muffin in Amsterdam like 10 years ago.
Okay.
That's a different story, though.
100%.
As per proper, I got to switch up the glass because so this one's not a Newfoundland glass, but it is an IPA, and I find a thick rimmed, kind of straight pint glass.
Oh, your shaker glass, baby.
It's definitely better for IPAs. And
I believe
look
that
at
shaker
Dave.
glass is the standard style glass you are supposed to use for an IPA.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Do you know why they're called a shaker glass?
Oh, because I'm assuming because you're a mixologist, you can just pop
Yep,
it in.
that's exactly why. So,
Yeah.
besides the standard pub style glass you would use for like English ales, that's your shaker glass. You just use it for shaking cocktails, and it wasn't really used in the beer world like a whole lot until, a little bit later. It's kind of cool.
It's crazy. Like you go to Europe, like glassware is an art form, an
Oh,
absolute
yes.
art form. You get your tulips and all these different styles of
Yep.
glasses and everything. And I have some glasses that I have. I mean, I have some ones that I brought back from Germany and stuff like that, and all that up there. But I have some glasses that there's particular, like I have one glass that I'm like, this is my tasting glass. If I've never had a beer ever before, there's a lot of times where I want to like pour it in this one
Oh yeah.
particular glass because it's really wide at the bottom. It tulips up, and I just like almost want to almost like I can decant it at the bottom. And
That is exactly what my favorite beer glass is like. So you know the brewery Delirium.
I sure do.
Everybody knows Delirium. So Delirium's
Yeah, I
amazing,
got a
but
glass up there from Delirium
don't
Track right there.
listen. I can't. I can't right now. It's still fresh. Okay, I'll tell you a quick story. So my Delirium glass is my absolute favorite glass. I love it. The size of the bowl is just like, and if it's the one with the elephant's trunk, is that the one you have?
Right there. Got the
Amazing.
pink elephant on it right
So,
there.
oh yeah, beauty glass, man. It's just like a wide, nice bowl. It almost goes like a Bordeaux glass. Like it's just now more,
Yeah.
so much
Yeah.
narrow, but it's got a good, solid base to it. And you can pour a good amount in there, get a good sniff. It's amazing glass, and I just love it for everyday drinking. Like that's what I use. So 2 years ago, I got one for Christmas. I was ecstatic. I was like, man, this glass is amazing. So 3 months later, my girlfriend, she was washing the dishes, and it's a heavy set glass, right? The top is like, if you lay that down, the top, like not the top, but the base of it's pretty heavy. So it was in the wash rack, like the one on the side of the sink. That's kind of like, anyways, tipped over, cracked it. Brutal. So with any of those Christmas packs, because you had to get it in the Christmas pack, like I just can't go down the road and buy a Delirium glass.
Right.
And I looked it up online. It was like $8 billion. I was like, no, not shipping it in. Just can't do it. Not risking it. So the next year for Christmas, she gets me one more. I
Oh,
was like, yes, yes. And then 2 months later, she broke it again. So then the next Christmas, she gets me another one. And I'm like excited. So that was only recently. That was this Christmas. This is like my third glass.
oh,
So a week and a half ago, we had like an element go out on our stove. I was like, okay, I'll call a repair person to come in. So we take all the glassware, because the stove and stuff, and we just basically take all the glassware out so they can work, put it on the table, and I come home to meet the repair person and helping him do some stuff. And when I get up from doing something, I turn quickly to the left. My elbow hits the glass. Guess what glass it is? I'm not even joking.
no.
I've like 3 glasses in 3 years. They don't even make 6 months. Anyways,
You are not meant to have that glass.
I am meant to have that glass, and I will continue to get it every year. I might put a call out on like Facebook or something and be like, listen, sell me your extra storage. If you do not want this glass, I'll get it from you for $10.
Seriously.
But anyways,
Well,
that's why it's too soon. Last week it broke again. That's why you were going to show me. I was like, please don't. I can't take it.
No, you know what? I have a broken glass story. When I was 22, I went to Ireland for a month. We really, really good friends of the family, and I basically I was 22. I was like ready to take some time off and saved up a bunch of money because I had been working since I was 12, and I was just like, you know what, I want to take a break from where I was working and all that stuff, and Long story short, they were gonna lay a guy off where I was
Yeah,
at,
yeah.
and I said, "Lay me off. Like, let that guy keep his job. He was older than I was, and I was only 22. I didn't care. I was like, whatever. This is not going to be the job I'm going to do for the rest of my life. So, lay me off, and I'll figure out what I want to do from there. I want to kind of
Yeah, yeah.
whatever." So I went to Ireland for a month because we have good friends of the family, like 3 generations of friends of family. And they said, "You fly over here, you have a place to stay for as long as you want to be here." They have a place up north, trailer where they were like, "You can live there for as long as you want," basically. So I was like, "Yeah." So I took them up on that, and I drank a lot of Guinness. And so I went over there for I went over there for the entire month of May in that year, and spent a whole month of May over there, and got a really lot of cool stories that I could talk about that, but we'll save that for another time. But um, on my last day, I was given by like someone like the generation from like my parents' age.
Mhm.
He gave me a Guinness glass, and it was like the my goodness, my Guinness, like
Oh, the toucan one.
toucan one from
Oh,
the 1970s. Yeah. So gave it to me. I made sure I wrapped it extra good and brought it back home. It was one of my favorite things to drink. I wouldn't drink Guinness except for in that glass.
yeah, yeah.
And sure enough, one day, my dad, who's very athletic but very clumsy, tried to take it out of the shelf and just dropped it, and it just shattered. And it happened to be that summer, people were coming over from Ireland to visit us. And my mom just said, "Hey, yeah, Walter broke Matthew's glass. Like, do you think you could ship him over another one?" The guy's jaw just dropped and was like, "No, that was a limited edition Guinness glass from the 70s."
70s. Yeah, it's like,
Like,
yeah, yeah, sure. Just
yeah,
gonna
it's
find
like,
one.
no, you can't just get that. But that, I mean, I ended up getting a toucan, or not a toucan one. I got an ostrich one that I ended up I found years later, but
Sick.
I don't think it's from the 70s or a limited edition or whatever. But I will show you one like my pride and joy.
Well, I'm actually, thank you for making me feel better because, I can get my glass next year. You smash that one good, and
Yeah.
you're never going to get it again. So,
So
thank you. You officially made me feel better.
from one glass collector to another, honestly, like I got some really cool glass stories. Like I got one from one of my favorite Belgian breweries, which
Hmm.
I've actually toured the place twice.
What
It's
is it?
like it's the Hofmann
Oh, cool.
from
Was
Bruges.
not expecting. Yeah, cool,
So
cool.
from Bruges, they actually the brewery's hundreds of years old,
Yeah, yeah.
and where they have their bottling plant is 3 kilometers away. So the city of Bruges, which is an old medieval town,
I've
allowed
been
them
to
to
Belgium.
it's amazing. They allowed them to lay pipes under the city 3 kilometers away. So the beer is brewed in one location and then bottled and shipped 3 kilometers away. And it's actually shipped 3 kilometers under the city.
Absolutely amazing.
It's so, so, so cool. So I
Absolutely
have a
amazing.
glass from there. I got my Delirium Tremens. I got my Fizz de Wa, which is a distillery in New Brunswick, which won. It's gin. 8 gold medals were given out for gin in London, England. 7 of them were for England, and this one won the 8th gold.
Hot damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's like top notch gin. So we got that. Then we got my Guinness glass. Then we got this one. This one's not special, but I mean it's special in my heart, but not anything unique. But Rogue's Roost, which was a brewery that meant a lot to me
Hmm.
uh, when I was younger, in my early 20s. I probably went there 4 days a week when I worked downtown Halifax.
Cool.
It was a microbrewery. To this day, I would say it's top 2 favorite IPAs I've ever had, and now it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So
Well, oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
there's that, and then I got this one in my hand, and then I got the glass. Remember I told you I was in Germany? That was the first time I ever
Yeah, yeah,
experienced.
yeah.
I got my glass from when I was 20 years old. That I brought back from Germany. The very first glass when I first
Amazing.
learned craft beer. but I got this. See if you know what that thing is.
That's a Westy 12, baby.
You're damn right. I brought that one back, and like honestly, like this one is just the greatest beer I've ever had in my entire life.
You know what? I think I'm right there with you. Westy 12 is unbelievable. The amount of character and like what I was going to say while you were chatting there. So, I've become to the point that like I don't get craft beer glasses because they're the same glasses regurgitated just because they have like 5 or 6 glass suppliers. They all make the same things. They say, "Hey, we're going to put our logo on it and we're going to sell it as XYZ." And they're exactly the same. But what I love about Belgian glasses and like German glasses and places like that, every brewery has their own glassware, their own shapes, their own sizes, the way they're created. And I love that. Like they're made for the actual beer. A lot of the times, you go to these breweries and you order one beer, you get it in one glass. You order another beer, you get it in another. And and even though they're all like tulip shaped or bowls, like they're all a little bit different. And that I love that about it, right? Which is super cool.
It brings this whole like art form to like the beer that they make and
100%, right? And it's, they're just paying homage and respect to the product that they make, right? Like if you make something, and you want to give it its best characteristics and show it forward, like you're proud of what you created, right? You take that and you spend 6 months or a year and make a custom glass and get that mass produced, right? And then, that's your best foot forward. And I find something like extremely almost like romantic about that whole thing. Like they're very proud of the product they make, and it's pretty cool. I love it.
So speaking of like really incredible beers, if I look behind you, is that what I think it is?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh, is that full or is that empty?
That is empty now.
Okay.
So a little story behind that one. So it was almost never full ever. So I've never had the chance of drinking Utopia before. And so when I was looking for a change in my career, when I went to talk to Craig's one of the owners at Banished. And I went and had a chat with Craig, and he said, "Meet me at my house. We'll come. We'll have a beer, have a chat. We'll just see what's on the go." So we sat down, had a chat, and at the end of it, we kind of decided that, I'd probably be great for me to work at Banished Brewing. So, come in, talk to the guys. But at that point, he said, "You know what? I have like a couple of ounces of something special left, and I'm going to break it out." And he broke it out, shared what was left. It was probably, 5 or 6 ounces left. So we got a pour out of it. And tried it. Unbelievable. But I said to him, I was like, "Hey, can I have this? Like, this is something special." And you start a new part of your career. You're moving on. It was kind of like took it back. So that was it. Yeah, my back wall is a crazy history of random things in my life. So I actually have a kegerator here.
I see that. Yeah.
So this is kind of a tale of my life. It's like kegerator from when I started brewing. Before I worked in a brewery, I was actually a competitive bodybuilder. So that's what those are. Never tell now, though. Never tell now. So
I just thought you like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something.
No. So I used to do men's physique and competitive. So I was competitive for years. Won a couple trophies. That's 2 third places and a second. And then you have you obviously see fish things. So 95% of my not 95, it's 75% of the time when I'm not working during the summer. Fly fishing, 100%.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fly fishing's huge in Newfoundland. Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. Well, we have a huge, I spend a lot of my time fishing for trout, but I do a lot of trips for salmon. Salmon's huge here. Atlantic salmon is monstrous across the province. It's a big pull in for tourism, but also it's just kind of a thing that a lot of people locally do. It's absolutely amazing. But I'm a big trout guy myself, so I do a lot of that.
I mean, I like to eat trout, so there's that.
I only catch and release, so I don't actually eat any of it.
No, really? Okay. So there's I live right like the ocean is literally right there, like outside of my house.
Yeah.
And there's a really great trail and the mackerel run out there. And I've been here for 6 years, and I keep saying I'm gonna go get a fishing rod because I had a fishing rod, but it broke, and then thought of replacing it and everything. It's like I'm gonna go get a fishing rod because I want to go down there and catch mackerel because I like mackerel. It can be a little oily, but it can be good. That's something that can be great on a barbecue is mackerel.
100%. Yeah. Mackerel's pretty delicious. You can prepare it a lot of ways. It's kind of fun.
Hmm.
But I'll tell you right now, if you want to spend a lot of your time, the less time you have, pick up fishing. I only picked it up like 3 or 4 years ago. I went to a salmon lodge here. Yeah, it's about 4 years ago now, actually. I picked it up, never fly fish before in my life. Like, wasn't really interested, didn't do it. And then myself and Justin and his father has a lodge, so we went to the lodge and spent a couple days there salmon fishing, basically a week. And I'll never lay it down. It's like
Huh.
the best way to explain it, it's like it's almost like meditation or yoga. Like,
Okay. Yeah. I
and
can see that.
so like you stand up in a river and you have this like rod in your hand. You throw it, right? And all you do is this repetitively for hours. And
Yeah.
like you're just staring at the waves, or in my case, like the river, it's just like flowing very naturally. You're just focused on that, and you're just watching to see when a trout rises or something. But time goes by extremely quickly. Like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours can go by in the blink of an eye. And whenever I'm done, I just feel amazing. It's like my mind
Yeah.
goes blank. All I hear is like the water, the wind, the birds, and then like it's almost meditative and it's really nice.
I can feel that. There's something that
Yeah, yeah.
I honestly something about waves crashing for me that so
Yeah.
I can get the water like listen to the water run and all that stuff because waves crashing I can go and sit like a lot of people love to go to a beach in July and August and sit there when the sun's blaring and sit out on the beach and get their sun.
Yep.
But honestly, for me, like summer nights when the sun's down is like the best time for me to go and like lay on a
Totally.
beach, listen to the waves. It's the best. It's just
I
laying on
I
that
agree
cool
completely.
sand. Oh,
Yep. When it's like just comfortable enough to not be cold. Like you're
exactly.
cool, you're actually like almost borderline warm, but it's like kind of cool out. And like yeah, that's a wonderful time. Stoking a little fire, like
Oh,
do your thing. Absolutely fantastic.
shorts and a hoodie weather. That's what you want. Shorts and a hoodie.
That's a good that's a good
Perfect weather.
description of it. I never
Yeah,
thought of it like that. That's good.
yeah. That's the perfect weather for me. But anyway, so what else you got there? So you got Utopia, which if anyone doesn't know what Utopia is, it's made by the Boston Brewing Company. So people we might know Sam Adams, but that is a really cool beer because that is a beer that they've managed to harvest the yeast year after year after year, and the yeast has been able to withstand the alcohol percentage. And like
Yeah.
it started off like it was like 14% the first year, they got up to 18%. Now it's up to like 25%
Yep.
without even fermenting it or without even distilling it. It's just straight fermentation
Yep.
because the
It's
yeast can
pretty
withstand
amazing.
it.
They've been passing on the genus of that yeast and basically like refining it over a very long time to do what it does, and that's kind of
It's like a
amazing.
sourdough.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, basically the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Except bacteria, you're looking at like a lacto kind of culture in that scenario, whereas this is like a Saccharomyces yeast culture. But I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
besides fishing, I got some kegs, my kegerator,
Yeah.
bodybuilding awards, fishing reels. All those books back there are generally like all food and booze books. I also have a bookshelf right there that's all food and booze books. Yeah, got some flies. Yeah, kegs, fishing hat. Man,
Yeah.
that's where it's at.
It is. Yeah. So the is there? I mean, I feel like this has been a pretty great chat. I hopefully people listening to it, fall in love with Newfoundland, fall in love with Banished. Come spend some time out the East Coast for sure. You know,
100%.
best East Coast, best coast, right?
Yes.
But I don't know. Is there anything like we want to give a shout out because we really appreciate that you guys took the time to talk to us and everything. But is there anything people should know about Banished Brewing?
Oh man, anybody who loves beer should know about Banished Brewing. Like I said before, like we just put out really good product, and I hate to make it sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but it's kind of the reason I fell in love with the brewery in the first place. Like they're making stand-up beer, um, and it's just yeah, that's all I can really say. Like it's just
How many
if
how
you're
many like how many breweries are in St. John's now?
In Newfoundland, I know like St. John's is a couple, but like they're popping up all over outdoor communities like crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's around 17, 18 right now. We just
Okay.
had a couple close, which is unfortunate, but it's just tail end of the
Closed.
pandemic sort of stuff. Yeah, yeah, we had a couple close.
Which one's closed?
I can't remember off the top of my head. And
No.
like, yeah, I don't want to name it because if it's not true, then I might get in trouble. But I'm pretty sure it was
Fair enough.
two. It was two that closed down.
Is Yellow Belly still open?
Yeah, Yellow Belly's still kicking. Man, they're alive and kicking
I
downtown,
I went
rocking it.
there in 20 for the only time I've ever been there was 2020.
Hmm.
And when we were in St. John's, and my wife and I went down there, I did the gauntlet. Had everything, tried everything they had, got a good little jag on. We actually walked block down to Celtic Hearth, and
It's not
yeah,
too far. You didn't
that,
make it too far.
no, we didn't take it too far, but because we saw it there, and we saw they had seafood nachos on, and we were like, seafood nachos, yeah, and
Nice.
we went and we got them, and they whether they were good or I was just quite drunk.
Couldn't tell at that point. Yeah.
No, but they tasted good at that point. So good that because we were there for a few days and everything, we decided to come back to Celtic Hearth because they had a lobster mac and cheese, and that was like speaking to my wife. So we went back, and you know what? I was not inebriated at that point in time, and it came like on a hot skillet, and it was like cooked right, like basically it was like still sizzling when we got it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, yeah, lobster mac and cheese, amazing. Yeah.
100%. I've had it before, but I didn't have it at Celtic Hearth. One thing that they do well that it's kind of like if I'm out, I've had a couple of ales, you want to go somewhere for a late night thing. They're open pretty much like all the time. It's kind of their
Yeah.
thing, their shtick, right? But they do this nachos called the sexy nachos. It's basically just the nachos with everything sort of thing with chicken, the whole nine. And it's borderline the best nachos on the go. Like they layer it perfectly, the cheese is melted, they don't burn it, but they still got the crispy bits on the outside,
Yes.
which kind of like I find a lot of places if you burn them, then it's not great, but you get the crispy bits. But this place, I don't know how they do it, but it's like super toasty on the outside. You can almost crack that cheese off once it cools a little bit.
Ooh,
Eat it. Oh, it's
yeah.
delicious. But that's one thing they do extremely well.
There's a place we have here in Halifax called Dirty Nellies, and
Okay.
everything.
I've been to Dirty Nellies.
You've been, okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Anyone who doesn't know it, every single thing that's in Dirty Nellies has been flown over from Ireland, and they basically it's an Irish pub put together in Halifax. And they have two different types of nachos. They have their regular, like everything nachos, whatever, and then they have their 1 pound nachos, which is nachos with a pound of cheese on it.
Amazing.
Yeah, yeah,
I did not see that. So I was there last year. It was the first time I was there. I was there for the East Coast Music Awards because that got hosted last year
yeah.
in Halifax. So when I was working at Kitty Vitty Brewery, Kitty Vitty was part of the craft beer collective. There's one brewery from every province. So Cam from Breton Brewing took me down to Dirty Nelly's because he knows the lads there. Went down, had a couple beers, waiting for my friend Justin to show up because he was getting a plane from Portugal.
Oh,
And we had a couple of ales. We had a good time. First night of the, it was good. I got to
yeah,
see the bar in full bustle, but then we went back 2 days later after this, third day of the ECMAs. It's a little bit of a hangover,
yeah.
but it was
Hair of the
fantastic.
dog.
Oh, there was definitely a hair of the dog, and I can't remember what I had. I think it was like a soup. It's like, who am I? Just go to the Irish pub and get a soup. But I think that's all like his stomach at the point. But
Well, you know what though? Like, Irish like their stews, so that makes sense, right?
100%, I'm a sucker for a good Irish stew.
That's right. The other thing, so they actually have some really great. They have some great things going on there. First of all, second of all, the next time you're ever there, as a cocktail artist, they make one of the best Caesars you will ever have.
Oh, there was a bunch of people at the table having Caesars. Oh man, I
They
should
have
have.
they have a Caesar, and then they have their dirty Caesar, and their dirty Caesar is next level.
Nice. Yeah, I think I felt
Oh,
bad because the guys from Breton Brewing with us, and like they were.
yeah.
I think they got around. I think I was on the Black Angus.
You know what? Listen, I have nothing but love for Breton Brewing.
Oh
Honestly,
man, the guys are
they're one of my
fantastic.
favorites.
Yeah.
One of my favorites. I actually, I didn't even know who they were. It was several years ago. I think it was their first year that they were open. And my wife and I were doing a trip. We do every year we do a trip around the Cabot Trail just because we love Cape Breton. And so we were doing our annual trip around Cape Breton. First day, we always stop for lunch at the Glenora Distillery. It's one of the most beautiful places. Honestly, I've traveled around quite a bit, but this place for some reason just brings me completely zen. Right?
Yeah.
The babbling brook, just looking around, it actually can transport you. You feel like you're in Europe, in like the countryside of Germany when you're in this place. And the reason why I have to do that is because I was sitting there, I was having lunch, and my wife likes craft beer too, and my wife lived in Germany for a year, and so we saw a Hefeweizen from Breton Brewing, and I was like, didn't even know who Breton Brewing was at the time because they were really brand new. And I was like, oh, Breton Brewing Hefeweizen. It's a nice summer day. I would love to have a Hefeweizen because it's that nice hazy Hefe, summertime, just speaks to me, right? Especially at lunchtime. And so I was like, we both ordered the Hefeweizen. We sit there, they come in the nice big glasses, and we're sitting around this European architecture, babbling brook, rolling green hills. Take a sip of this friggin' Hefeweizen from Breton Brewing. We both put the beer down and look at each other, and we were like, this tastes like Germany. It tastes like Germany. It was, and honestly, from that very second, fell in love with Breton Brewing because they do everything amazing. Their brown is amazing. Their red is one of the best in all of Nova Scotia. I mean, the Angus, obviously, IPA is top notch.
Yep.
The Hefeweizen's great, but I mean, they have others that are good. But
I unfortunately didn't have their brown, and I'm a sucker for a good brown ale, man. It's one of those styles that I don't find A is done a lot, and B, when it is done, it's not really done that well. But when you get a good banger brown ale, absolutely fantastic. That's maybe why I like I keep going left instead of right. The dark lager so much. It has those still those qualities. That's that little bit of maltiness, that dark, but it's not overpowering. It's delicious.
So we Afternoon Pint. We partnered with Great Roads Brewing, which is a brewery here in Sackville. We partnered with them, and in 2 weeks, roughly, on May 24th. So this will probably air after that, but May 24th. We are having our very first commercial beer launch. So the Afternoon Pint has made a beer. And it is a coffee brown. We decided to do a coffee brown.
That is cool.
And so it's multi-layer cool because we're doing it, one, in a partnership with our very first guest ever, which is Tartan Coffee Company. So we went back to our first guest, who's a friend of ours, and said, give us the beans and we'll make a beer. Name it Tartan Coffee Brown from the Afternoon Pint and Great Roads Brewing, and we'll make it commercially. So your beans will be used in this beer. And he said, no problem. Take as much as you want. Here we go. So we got up and we made this beer early Sunday morning and made it, and it's about to be ready. We have on the 24th, we're doing this official beer launch. But we decided to tie it in even more and go back to another previous guest. So we have a previous guest named Clint Sock, who's an Indigenous hip hop artist who we had on the show, who has a lot of health issues, really serious ones. And they are working on giving him his dream trip. He's the hip hop artist. I believe they're working on trying to meet up with Drake's producer who will sit down and do a session with them. All this cool stuff, right?
That's amazing.
And we are doing this as a fundraiser for him. So 10% of all proceeds on May 24th of food and beer from Great Roads is going to Clint.
That's pretty amazing.
It's pretty cool that we could find whatever we've created here at the Afternoon Pint. We've built some friendships that have enabled us to do some really cool things.
Cool.
Yeah,
man. If they'll ship some, I'll definitely buy some. 100%.
You know what?
I'm a sucker for beer with a good cause.
This is going to be just in kegs for now, but I have a funny feeling. That this thing won't last long. And they said if it sells quickly, then they're going to turn it around and do a big one, and they'll put it in cans. So
Nice.
I will definitely let you know when that
I would
happens. 'Cause no
love
doubt in
that.
my mind it will. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. That's pretty fun. It's
Yeah.
that's a match made in heaven, man. That brown ale profile to go with that, and then
Oh.
like
Oh, and
doing
you know
that with a
what?
little bit of charity involved is absolutely amazing. All
And,
about
and
it.
I love the local thing. I love supporting local. So I mean, this is supporting a local guy, hip hop artist. It's supporting a local coffee company to get his brand name out there.
Local
On top
brewery.
of that, the beans are roasted here in Nova Scotia, and they're fair
Cool.
trade beans. So it's from a local Nova Scotian roaster. Like
Man, it's good feel all around.
it is good feel all around. But you know what? I find that's what craft breweries do.
Oh
Honestly,
my God, yes.
craft
100%.
breweries are they support local. They're local entrepreneurs. One of my favorite guys in the U.S. is Dogfish Head,
Oh, awesome.
and
Yeah, yeah.
those guys just like they do everything authentically, and yeah,
Yep.
like I
And that's
like
the
I
big
like
thing for me too, like the authenticism of it. Like, you know, you can't help but look at a lot of things that are done, like, and not so much craft breweries, but everywhere that doesn't have that level of authenticity to it. And you're kind of like, oh, you're doing this for XYZ. But I find so many local breweries, they have like different causes or like different things they help with. And it's not just kind of like this is going to directly affect sales. It's we generally care about this
yeah,
and let's help, right?
right,
And you don't really get that a lot in a lot of like different areas, but
yeah,
it's a beautiful thing to be part of. I do a lot of volunteer work myself. I do stuff with like Big Brothers Big Sisters. I've done
awesome,
stuff like across the board. I'm just huge into the charity and like putting a little bit of effort back into the community, and that's craft beer is definitely a big part of it, and it feels
yeah,
genuine and awesome, and it's pretty awesome.
yeah. You know what? Honestly, like Henry, I think we kind of we have to wrap it up at some point. Even though I
Holy
could sit here
Lord.
and I could drink with you here all night.
Oh,
But
100%. I honestly did not realize it was an hour and pretty much 10 minutes until when you just said Henry and I
yeah,
looked down at the time. Brother, you're an easy guy to talk to. Just gonna
you
say.
are too, man. This has been fantastic, and I hope all of these go like this. But I mean, I love Newfoundland. I love craft beer, so it's like honestly, I figured this was going to be an easy conversation anyway. So yeah,
100%.
but
Yeah,
yeah. So cheers to Banished Brewing.
100%.
Hopefully you guys have a long, long future, and hopefully people buy your beers. I know I'll be looking for it when I go to the private liquor stores because I've really enjoyed everything we've had. So yeah,
I'm glad
cheers.
you enjoyed it. And anytime we're shipping off any big orders out your guys' ways, the Maritimes, I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know, especially like if there's some things that may not be in the usual or something like that. I know
Yep.
I will say that Bishops is really great. That if they know if they're getting orders in and things like that, you can reach out to them and be like, "Hey, can you throw this in?" And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll buy that kind of thing. So yeah, they're good about that stuff. So
And listen, I'm always looking for an inside source because Bishops gets some really good beer that we do not get here. Like I said, when I was at the ECMAs, I took home a couple lambics. I took home a couple like
yes,
really good saisons. Always about those bad boys. So
yeah,
let me know. You
a
never know.
lot
You
of
might find
people,
a couple more banished beers shipped to your
lambics.
door.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 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 exactly. May have some friends here like the
Yeah, that's
lambics.
right.
Ah, I love the lambics. Yes.
Oh, that's my jam.
All right,
Lambics and
man. Well,
saisons.
I will. I think we'll end the recording here, and
Cool.
I cheers.
Cheers, brother. It was great
From
talking to you. A
Yes,
lot of
you
fun.
far